What if I told you that the internet's favorite high-value woman coach just got exposed for having an affair with a man who was already engaged? Not only that, but a leaked phone call surfaced where she's bragging about what she could do for him on his wedding day.
I'll suck your dick if you have an attitude, and I can do it today if I want to.
Go on.
And I can do it on your wedding day.
Now, this is the same person who built a brand around teaching self-respect, self-worth, and high value. You know, hypocrisy, it doesn't get louder than this. And today, I'm going to break down why this matters, not as a gossip, but as a lesson in understanding what high value really means. But before we begin, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. You know, we're almost there. We're about 948 subscribers at the time of filming this video. So please hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any of future no BS relationship advice videos. And don't forget to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you get any value out of this video. Let's get right in the meat and potatoes of this video. So Sadia Khan, the very same woman who preaches and teaches everyone how to be a high-valued person, the one who self-proclaims to be a high-valued woman with lots of self-respect and dignity, just got exposed with allegedly having an affair with a soon-to-be married man and proudly, knowingly, and totally okay with being his side chick. I mean, she 100% knows this man is engaged and that he has a wedding coming up. Yet, when this man's fiance finds out about the affair, she confronts Sadia, records a conversation, and Sadia had this to say to her.
What are you going to do about it? I'll suck your dick if you have an attitude, and I can do it today if I want to.
Go on.
And I can do it on your wedding day and your birthday.
Okay, well,
and
we'll
the days
see.
After.
Okay.
I've been in situations where he's been with you in a social setting. He'll call me after.
The hypocrisy really shines right here. She's literally telling this woman that she will go down on her fiance if she gets an attitude with her, that she'll do it again on her wedding day. She also adds that she has been in situations where the man is out with her fiance and he calls Sadia after, and well, she seems proud of that. Is that the type of woman anyone wants to take relationship advice from? Is that the type of woman that anyone would pay thousands of dollars to learn from her how to be a high-valued person? And when two other influencers reached out pretending to, want to help her out with some PR stuff to try to, downplay her hypocrisy, not knowing that they were setting her up to see if she admits guilt, well, spoiler alert, which she does, she sent them this. So real quick, this is Abba and Preach YouTube channel. These are the guys that are pretty much exposing her out on YouTube. They are the ones that, they pretended to book a Zoom call to help her out on some PR, but more about that later. But they pretty much started questioning her about her psychology degree because she, always claims that she has a master's degree on psychology and that she's a licensed psychologist. And when they presented her, with her photoshopped psychology degree, they told her, hey, listen, just provide us with the real one. We're going to go ahead and fact check it, prove to us that you have a master's in psychology and that you're a certified licensed psychologist. And we won't make any more videos trying to expose you, but we'll try to help you, with some PR to kind of clear your name. Obviously a setup. And this is Goob, another guy on Instagram that's also exposing her, but more about that later. And a member of her team, aka her, because she is her team, said, Sadia said it's okay if we stick to the narrative that she's not qualified and is fake. She's super nervous. Anything said will lead to more backlash. We are so sorry to do this. It's just that she has to be very, very careful. If she says the rumors are not true, she may get new rumors. So sorry for this. She's been severely anxious because she just does not want to risk another Goob video, the guy that I just mentioned on Instagram. If there's anything I can do, please let me know. And we really don't want to waste your time. My apologies again. So she does not want to provide a copy of her master's degree and prove to them that she is a certified licensed psychologist. So she'd rather just go with this false narrative instead of clearing her name. Okay. And like some of you may wonder, as I also wondered myself, what if this voice isn't really her? What if someone made it using AI to clone her voice? Well, that possible excuse, we got quickly dismantled. On a Zoom call with them, they asked her to verify her phone number to see if it matched the phone number that was used during the call. And guess what? Sadia confirmed it was indeed her number.
It says 97158549337. Is that wrong?
3719?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Oof, so it was you making those late night booty calls to another woman's man.
And take a look at her reaction once she realizes that this guy also has screenshots of multiple text messages that she would send to this soon-to-be married man, aka her secret affair lover, you know, the one that she is proud to be the side chick to. Pay close attention to her reaction.
Now, when she confirmed that number, she did not know that we had those screenshots of her sending those messages. Here's where she realizes that we have them. Abba puts it up on the screen on the meeting that they had.
Okay, so it's got my team's number on there.
You can pinpoint the approximate moment that her soul leaves her body when she realizes she's caught.
She also sent this message to Goop, you know, the influencer who started to expose her, you know, probably in hopes that he could, you know, help her out. She said, whatever I say, you will make false claims as you're working with Elijah Long, who is behind all this fake information. Elijah Long works in the film and music industry and has made threats to me about destroying my career for months. Elijah Long does this for a living. He's in the film and music industry. It's easy to Google and see. We can prove Elijah Long official. He is behind every false claim you will have as his entire job is AI, music and movies. She's practically claiming that, you know, this Elijah Long, which has apparently different tags, right? First one's just Elijah Long, then the other one's Elijah Long official, the other one Elijah Long official. But yeah, she's practically claiming that this guy Elijah Long is creating her voice in an AI version, that it's not really her, that it's all AI. The police already found evidence of Elijah Long behind this to support my claim. So if you want to share it, it's totally fine, but I can't for legal reasons. In which Goop responded, ha 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 ha, who the F is Elijah Long, blah, blah, blah. But on the very same Zoom call with these influencers, she admitted that it was indeed her who has said that to the fiance of, you know, her secret lover, because she tends to get angry when she has to defend herself, and that she needs to work on that part of herself. Take a look.
I was like, who are you fucking talking to? I was like, you know, if I wanted to, I could suck you on his wedding day.
So now at the time of filming this video, if you go on her Instagram or YouTube channel, she has a comments section disabled. That's usually a sign of, oh snap, I don't want to get cooked by everyone for my own hypocrisy. Now, let me start by saying this to anyone out there, myself included, giving relationship advice on YouTube and social media, but specifically to Sadia Khan. Don't preach about being a high-value woman while privately practicing chaos, because your public image, well, it means nothing if your private life is a circus. You know, you can't package yourself as a spokesperson of dignity while you're backstage living in contradiction. You know, that's like a nutritionist influencer preaching healthy eating while being caught, you know, chugging a 2-liter of Pepsi and eating Pop-Tarts and Oreos for breakfast every morning. People listen to you because they trust that your actions match your words. You know, once that gap is exposed, well, your credibility, it evaporates. And in Sadia's case, that credibility, it wasn't chipped away. It was demolished in one scandal. You know, when you preach value but practice betrayal, you don't just lose followers, you lose respect. And respect is a currency that you can't buy back. And let me say that being high value is about character. You know, Proverbs 10:9 says, whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out. Now, that's exactly what's happening right now with her. You know, crooked paths always lead to exposure. Now, let's talk about the audacity of charging $6,000 for one-on-one coaching sessions. I mean, $6,000. Now, I'm not against one-on-one coaching calls, you know, at all. As a matter of fact, I believe that it can be helpful and beneficial to some. But if you're going to put a price tag on advice, at least let your life back it up. Imagine calling yourself a relationship coach while simultaneously being the other woman in someone else's engagement. Imagine telling women, demand respect, don't settle, only entertain high-value men, while privately plotting to take another woman's fiancé. You know, that's not high value, that's low character. And to make it worse, these voicemails, it didn't just expose bad choices, they exposed a sick level of pride. You know, saying that you can offer oral pleasure on his wedding day is not just immoral, it's pathetic, and it's insulting to every woman who paid thousands of dollars for her so-called wisdom. Because if you can't practice the very thing you preach, why are you charging people to learn it? Now, let me keep it real for you. If you want to know what someone truly believes, don't listen to their speeches. Look at their current choices. Your current choices, or it reveals character, and her choices, it revealed everything. Now, let's quickly talk about these filters and waistline editing. If you preach self-love, body confidence, and authenticity, but then Photoshop yourself to look slimmer, you're living in contradiction. You're not teaching women to love themselves. You're teaching them to chase an illusion. Now, this is what I'm talking about. As you can see, when she moves, take a look at the warping background, the stretched pixels, letting you know that she used filters, to make her waist appear a lot slimmer than what it really is. Now, I'm not against people using filters, but if you preach self-love and to be, authentic, high-value person, why aren't you displaying self-love and authenticity? Why not upload the video without making your body appear a way that it is not? That doesn't sound like self-love or authentic, does it? Every time that you bend reality to look better online, you teach, the women who follow you that who they are isn't enough. Look, if you're really about this high-value woman life, own your mistakes. Don't run from accountability. Don't silence the voices calling you out by disabling your comment sections on your social platforms. Because guess what? Silence, it doesn't erase truth. It just confirms guilt. That's like a restaurant serving spoiled food, getting a flood of bad Yelp reviews and then deleting their Yelp page. Well, that doesn't fix the problem. No, it just tells the world, yep, we served you rotten food, but we just don't want to hear about it. High value isn't about perfection. It's about accountability. You see, people can forgive mistakes, but they can't forgive hypocrisy and cover-ups. So what now? I believe that if Sadia wants to be taken seriously moving forward, the only path is ownership. Stop hiding. Stop pretending. Own the L. Make a public statement. Address the scandal. Say, yes, I messed up. Yes, I've been a hypocrite. Yes, I've hurt the people I claimed to help. But I'm taking responsibility and I'm going to change. Don't try to make this lie up about it was someone using AI to try and screw you over, because you can't rebuild credibility without humility. The higher you build your brand, the harder the fall when you forget humility. And right now, the only thing that can salvage even a shred of respect is radical honesty. Without it, the empire is built on sand, and the tide, well, it already came in. Now let's pull back from the drama and make this about the viewers, the followers, the one who trusted influencers like, like Sadia, because Sadia Khan isn't the first and she won't be the last. The internet is full of people selling you polished wisdom that they themselves don't practice. And if you're not careful, you'll spend thousands of dollars following someone else's words while, ignoring the truth of their actions. So here's the bigger lesson. Don't confuse influence with integrity. Influence, it can be bought with views, editing, and marketing. Integrity is proven over time in private when no one is watching. Before you buy anyone's coaching, ask yourself, do their actions match their message? Because if they don't, you're not learning from a coach. You're learning from a con artist. And if you ever want to be truly high value, here's the key. Be the same person in private that you claim to be in public. No filters, no scams, no contradictions, just integrity. Because one day, every mask falls. Every scam gets exposed. Every hypocrite gets revealed. So, to wrap this up, don't preach high value while living low value. Don't call yourself a relationship expert while being the side piece to someone's fiance. Don't preach self-confidence while photoshopping your waistline. And for God's sakes, don't shut down your comments when the truth catches up, because the internet never forgets. At the end of the day, the real high-value move isn't perfection. It's honesty. It's integrity. It's living a life so consistent that nobody could ever drop a voicemail, a screenshot, or a rumor that could take you down. Because, if your truth matches your words, you can't be exposed. So stay real, stay valuable, stay authentic. And remember this: hype fades, filters crack, lies collapse, but the truth always stands. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.